So you want to go full time in your coaching business, but you're frustrated right now because even though you're showing up, you're creating the content, you're going live, you're doing the things, you're still not seeing the sales come in the way you want to. You're still not seeing the DMs, the comments, the applications coming in, and so it's just leading you to feelings of frustration, and you're feeling upset, overwhelmed, and disappointed in just the results you've been getting. In this episode of the Daily Dose, I'm going to be breaking down why your visibility isn't working and how to actually fix it. All right. We're going to be diving into exactly how to fix it, why it's not working inside of this episode of the Daily Dose. All right. So, for those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is Janel Ranée. These daily dose episodes are a divine overflow of spirit-led empowerment. I sit with the Lord and I just ask him, what does he want me to share with his people? And I sit before the Lord before I come before you. And whatever the Lord puts on my heart is what I share. Okay. And so in this episode, this is what we're going to be tackling. And it's really inspired because last week I had a coaching session with my clients, and inside of that coaching call, I asked this same question, and so I'm going to present this question for you as well. What do you believe is the biggest block stopping you from consistently hitting your income goals? Right, so we were just going over the goals for this year and seeing, like, okay, what is the biggest block? What do you think was the biggest block that is hindering you from creating that consistent monthly revenue in your business so that you can finally go full time in your coaching business? And one of the women on the calls, she said it's visibility. She said that it was visibility. Let me actually take this timer off. There's a timer on this. She said it was visibility. And after coaching her, realized, like, wait, it's not visibility, right? It's not a matter of it being visibility. It's actually her belief systems behind her marketing message. It's what was she believing, right? And so inside of my coaching program, I always get to the root. I always go to your belief systems because that's what it is. It's always going to be your belief systems that's hindering your business growth, because your business will only grow to the level of your belief system and your body safety. And so what we uncovered on this call was that while she's creating the content, because she's so irritated and frustrated of her lack of results, right? She has clients, but they're coming in far far in between, right? So um she's frustrated because, and so as she's creating the content, she's behind her content message, she's thinking, while she's creating the content, she's thinking, oh, this isn't working. No one's seeing me. I feel invisible. And those thoughts lead to feelings of frustration. It leads to feelings of disappointment. And it's literally causing her to have this confirmation bias. So now the brain, you're giving, with that type of thought process, you're giving the brain the task to go out to find how it's not working. You're giving your brain the task to find um like how you're still perceived as invisible, instead of just switching those thoughts. And so this is why I do the work inside of my community. The way I help my clients is really just revamping your belief system, um, rewiring your neural pathways so that you're able to sustain and grow your business. And so I want you to just answer that question for yourself. Journal it out, really take some time and think about it. Like, what do you feel is the biggest block, right? Because oftentimes there's going to be a block beneath what that block is. And this is the work that I help my clients to do. And so the first thing, I have 3 points for you that I'm going to share for you to how to fix your visibility problem, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to tap into your eternal identity. It's your eternal identity. So before your career, before societal programming, before you were told to go to work, go to school, get good grades, go to work for 30 years, like before all of the societal cultural programming that happened to you, you had an eternal identity. God called you. He's called you with a purpose. He's called you with a kingdom assignment. And so it's your responsibility to go back to your creator, the person the man who created you, God who created you, and seek him for your eternal identity. He's called you to be a business owner. He's called you to be a full-time entrepreneur. He's called you to coach, right? He's called you to show up, to teach, to create the content. And so it's important for you to understand your identity through Christ and operate as such, right? And so that's the first thing you want to do. Eternal identity. And then when you do that, identify. So if you know God is calling you to be a coach, identify yourself as that coach, as a fully booked coach. What is she thinking? What is she doing? What is she feeling? What are the emotions that she's feeling as she's walking out her purpose as a full-time coach, as a full-time business owner? Operate from that person, right? Tap into that identity. The second thing you want to do is have emotional identification. And so your brain is wired to protect you. It's the triad of the brain is to protect you from danger, it's to preserve energy, and it's to what's the third one? Protect you from danger, preserve energy, and to seek pleasure. Thank you, Lord. To seek pleasure. And so if your brain finds that you are about to do something that feels uncomfortable for you, it's going to protect you. It's going to pump the brakes. It's going to say, nope, nope, nope. We don't want to do this. This is too hard. It's too difficult. We're not preserving energy. It's not safe, right? And it's not pleasurable. And so because of that, you have to have emotional identification and understand that every thought that you think is connected to an emotion. You'll never have an emotion without having a thought attached to it, right? And so for you, if you're showing up in your business and you're not seeing the results you want to see, or you're feeling frustrated with the outcome, what you need to do is shift your thoughts, right? You need to shift your thoughts. If you're thinking no one's listening, if you're thinking I'm invisible, that's just going to lead to, like I shared before, frustration. It's going to lead to emotions of doubt, hesitation, annoyance, even anger. And so what you do is, because you're feeling that way, you start to shrink back. You start to procrastinate. You start content and then you stop. You're inconsistent. And it's just a confirmation bias. And then when you're not seeing the results, then you're like confirming to your brain, like, yeah, you see, I knew I was invisible. I knew it wasn't working. I knew it wasn't going to work. And it's literally, you're telling your brain what to look for. And your reticular activating system is literally going to look for what you're actually believing. And so when we do the work that I do with my clients inside of my program is we rewire your belief systems. We reprogram your nervous system. We regulate your nervous system so that you can begin to embody, right? So we're going to actually jump into the third point is embodied identity. So when you're able to rewrite the neural programming, the coding within your body, the neural pathways within your body, this is the work that we do. It's through repetition. And when you're able to now build better belief systems, eliminate subconscious belief blocks, reveal them, and then eliminate them. When you're able to do that, you're now able to embody the identity that God has called you. You're now able to embody the identity of a full-time booked out coach, a full-time business owner, full-time entrepreneur, right? Because your nervous system is regulated in real time. I have a system that I call the SAFE protocol. And so in real time, it's a 4-step protocol that you do so that you're able to regulate your body. So when you feel this visceral reaction coming on where you're nervous about going live, or you're nervous about creating the content, your heart's racing, maybe your palms are sweating, in real time, my SAFE protocol walks you through the process of regulating your nervous system so that you can go forth and create the content, go forth and go live, right? Because as a registered nurse turned business coach, I understand how the body works. And oftentimes in business, the reason why a lot of people don't sustain in business is because they don't know how to regulate their body. They don't know how to work with their body's design. And so their body continues to work against them because they don't have the tools necessary to be able to sustain the business growth, that God has and really manifest that vision and the business that God really shown you. The reason why it's not coming into fruition is because of your belief blocks, right? And so this is why I am very, very, very I stress the importance of really rewiring and reprogramming your dominant belief systems, because that's what's going to drive your results. Inside of my program, one of the things that I do with my clients, we walk through the belief behavior blueprint. And this is a blueprint that I teach my clients how to use. Also, I use it with them on our coaching sessions, because this brings awareness. It brings you awareness of what you're thinking. When you can uncover your belief systems, you'll be able to connect it back to your emotions, right? How it ties into your feelings. And from your feelings drives your behaviors. You do what you feel like doing. And so when you're able to regulate and rewire your belief systems, you're able to sustain the business growth. You're able to sustain your business growth. As you grow, as you get to the next level, you need new belief systems, right? And so this is the work that I do. I do have openings inside of my program, Resign in 2026. Resign is an acronym. You can comment roadmap, and we'll jump on a resignation roadmap call this week. And Resign, like I said, is an acronym. And so the R in Resign is the first step, resignation roadmap. So that's what you would book this week. Inside of the resignation roadmap session is where we craft out and like reverse engineer. Okay, what date do you want to resign by, right? When are you turning in your resignation letter? Then we reverse engineer. Okay, how much are you making a month right now in your career? How much do you need to consistently make in your business to be able to successfully resign? And so we reverse engineer that. We look at your numbers right now, right? I find that a lot of new coaches, new business owners, they don't look at their numbers, right? They're posting and praying. They're hoping to go viral. But that's not a strategy. What you need is to strategize exactly how you're going to reverse engineer so that you can resign in 2026. And so this is the work that we do inside of that resignation roadmap session. Book your session. We actually look at your numbers, like what is your conversion rates on sales calls? And then we'll able to decide, okay, what's the price point you want to price your offer at? All right. So now that we have that price point, we know how much you need per month. We'll reverse engineer according to your sales conversion rate. If it's 20% and you need 2 sales a month, okay, that means you need 10 calls for that month, right? And this is the work that we do, right? So that we're able to map that out for you. So that's the resignation roadmap. Go ahead and comment roadmap to book your session, and the link will also be in the description. The E in the Resign acronym is where I mentioned before, eradicating subconscious belief blocks, because your business will only grow to the extent of your belief system. So if you have belief systems that are saying it's not working, I'm not growing, I'm invisible, those are going to lead to the same feelings that I mentioned before, frustration, anger. But if you switch it to thoughts of it is working, right? You're programming your brain to now find how it is working. And when you have this belief, it is working, it leads to feelings of empowerment, inspiration, happiness, joy, peace, knowing that it's working, right? And so now you're able to relax, you're able to release any negative thoughts, and you're able to now show up and operate as if it's already working, because now your brain is showing you proof. Now you're seeing, oh, wait, someone else did actually reach out in my DMs inquiring for my program. Right. And so it's so important to eradicate any subconscious belief blocks. And this is the work that we do. We do the rewiring, we do the recoding so that you can be able to sustain the business growth that you want to see in your business. That's the E. The S is signature offer creation. This is, oh man, I love all these stages, but the signature offer creation is really powerful, because this is like where this is your meat and potatoes. This is where you're going to find the treasure in your trial, right? I have a whole framework to help you to find the treasure in your trial so that you can see how your life's processes, your experience, your expertise, your education, like all the things, your gifts, your talents, your skills, you're able to now take that and package it into your signature offer. And so I go into detail on exactly how that's done, but you need a signature offer. As a coach, you need a signature offer, something that you're known for, the result, the transformation that you're bringing to your client's life. And so we work on creating that within the first module. And so I'm super excited about that. And then for you to sell this signature offer, you then have to integrate story selling messaging. And so something with story selling is it speaks to the limbic system of the brain, because in sales, people connect, people are driven by emotions in sales, right? And so they're driven by emotions, and then they justify their purchase with logic after the fact. And so it's important to integrate story selling messaging. You're painting the picture, you're showing them, okay, after purchasing my signature offer, this is what your life is going to look like. You're selling them Jamaica, you're selling them the destination. You're not just speaking about the features of your program, but you're speaking about what their life is going to look like after. So you're not just saying, yeah, you're going to lose 50 pounds and we're going to be in the gym 5 days a week. No, you're telling them that after they lose the 50 pounds, that they're going to feel so confident in their bodies, right? They're going to look in the mirror and love what they see. They're going to feel so beautiful. Their husbands are not going to be able to keep their hands off of them. They're going to have so much more energy. They're going to be so revitalized. They're going to be able to be in the playground with their children, running around with their children in the playground without being exhausted. And so this is what you're teaching your clients. This is what you're selling. You're selling the story. And this is what sells. This is what connects to that emotional limbic system of the brain. It bypasses the prefrontal cortex and speaks directly to the limbic system and drives sales. And so when you're speaking and integrating story selling, it's going to generate sales. You're going to generate sales in your business. And we also do this by structuring a simplified sales funnel. You want a beautiful, seamless process to be able to draw in your clients. You want a top of funnel that you can sustain on a platform, a social media platform of your liking, of your choice. You want a middle of funnel, right? And you want a bottom of funnel. And so we structure out your sales funnel so that it's simplified, because if you're all over the place and you have 100 different offers, this is why we create your signature offer, because all roads lead to that signature offer, right? When you have your simplified sales funnel, you don't have 100 offers, right? If you have 10 different offers, that's 10 different messaging, that's 10 different funnels, that's 10 different audience members. Like, that's 10 different ways for your clients to be confused. You're confused, your audience is confused, and then your money is confused. And then you're wondering why you're not generating sales in your business. It's because you're not simplifying it. Simplicity scales while complexity fails. And so if you're out here and you're showing up and you're doing all the things, your money is funny because you're all over the place, right? And so it's really important to get simplified. So that's what we do. That's the G inside of the RESIGN acronym. And then finally, the N, which is nervous system regulation. And I touched on this earlier, but this is my jam. As a registered nurse or business coach, I understand how your body functions. And I'm speaking from experience. I am teaching what I know, not just on a clinical level, but also as a business owner for 5 years now. I've gone through the ups and downs, the emotional roller coasters, and realized whoa, I was dysregulated. As a registered nurse, I worked very, very hard for my money, right? So when I started making money easier in my business, it felt unsafe. My nervous system, my body felt unsafe. And so I began to self-sabotage. And now my mission is to help other women to grow their coaching businesses without self-sabotaging, without chasing clients, without fighting the algorithm, without sacrificing time with their family, right? You can have a flexible life. You can live a life of freedom, because this is what I'm doing. And I've built out a system to help my clients to resign. All right. So if you want to resign in 2026, go ahead and comment roadmap or click the link in my description, and we'll jump on a call this week to really flesh out your resignation roadmap, and you'll be able to create that life of freedom that you truly desire. You'll be able to resign in 2026. All right. And so that's what I have for you. This is how this is why visibility isn't working for you. this is how to fix it. It's through your internal identity, emotional identification, and embodied identity. And we mapped out exactly how to flesh that out through the Resign through the Resign program. So this is my one-on-one mentorship, where I'm working alongside you one-on-one so that you can finally resign. All right, resign in 2026. Grow your business, make consistent sales, and resign. All right. And so I love you. I'm going to go ahead and jump off of here. I'm going to tell you, just as God told me, put one foot in front of the other, step out on faith, and trust God for the next step. I'll see you in the next live. Bye.